Let's then turn to another government which is finding itself in a bit of a spot. The Bombay High Court has put the Maharashtra government's sedition circular today on hold. The High Court's direction came after a PIL was filed by political cartoonist Asim Trivedi challenging the Maharashtra government's recent circular. The circular had said that sedition charges can be imposed on anybody who by words, signs or visible representation criticizes politicians or elected representatives belonging to the government. The petitioner contended that the circular dated August 27 amounts to a violation of the fundamental rights of a person and urged the High Court to quash it. The court has now asked the state government to reply by the 20th of October and threatened to issue an order if the government doesn't. Asim Trivedi was arrested in Mumbai on the 9th of September 2012 on charges of sedition for his cartoons. I want to go straight to our Mumbai editor, Sahil Joshi, who's joining us. Sahil Joshi, it's very interesting. Devendra Fadnavis, Chief Minister of Maharashtra, has today written and responded to an open letter that I had written to him, where one of the issues I had raised was sedition laws. And he said I had got it wrong. All that the Maharashtra government had done was translated from the Marathi into English what the court had said should be done in the circular when it comes to sedition. But today the Bombay High Court is asking the Maharashtra government to actually reply as to where it stands on this issue of sedition. So what is the exact position now?
Rajdeep, it is really surprising because it's the same government who actually had filed an affidavit. The affidavit was filed by the Advocate General Manohar that time in the Bombay High Court, and leading down all these details of what can be the guidelines to apply the section 124 under IPC, that is the sedition charges. And the government today was trying to say that they issued the government regulation as a circular to the police officials that when this particular section 124A can be applied. Right. So now today, when Asim Trivedi himself went to the court and asked the court that this particular guidelines cannot be applied because it actually is suppressing the freedom of speech. So after that, finally the court has to come forward and say, file your reply by 20th of October. Until then, the court has put it on hold to apply that particular circular, and have asked the government to come up with a reply on this. And if the government do not file the reply by 20th of October, the High Court has said that they will issue order on their own. So it's kind of an answer to what the government has been talking about. Their own affidavit in the court of law, and after that, their own circular has been put on hold at this point of time.
Okay, so question marks over whether the government, as it claims that this was a mere translation, or whether the government itself has gone ahead and interpreted the sedition law in the way it chooses to. Sahil Joshi, they're joining us from Mumbai. Let's turn straight away to New York, because Prime Minister Narendra Modi leaves tomorrow morning for his second big ticket visit to the United States. The visit is high on political and economic agendas, but may run into a strange kind of a problem. It comes from the Patel community. One-time enthusiastic Modi backers, some of them are angry over the crackdown on Hardik Patel's quota agitation. And some are planning actually to protest when the Prime Minister is in New York. Maharashtra Siddiqui now reports.
September 2014, a rousing welcome to the man who was earlier banned entry into the US. This is what the Patels offered Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New York. And this is what the BJP offered the Patels in Gujarat. At least that is the sentiment prevalent among a section of the Patel community abroad. A group of influential and rich Patels from Saurashtra are now demanding refund of some money they invested in the Madison Square Garden event.
That money was raised for the humanity and to support for a good purpose, and this is a good purpose because they sacrificed their life in name of the democracy, liberty.
The simmering anger in the NRI Patel community was triggered by the August crackdown on the Patidar movement in Gujarat. Members of the community say they felt a sense of helplessness as they sat across the Atlantic just watching images and getting news about their own being roughed up in India. This feeling was only fired up on Saturday as the Patidar movement leader Hardik Patel was detained again and his rallies denied permission. 21-year-old Hardik Patel only too keen now to capitalize on this sentiment.
दबाव तो बनाएंगे क्योंकि हक की लड़ाई है तो किसी ना किसी पर तो दबाव बनाना ही पड़ेगा। मोदी जी पर दबाव नहीं बना रहे हम। मोदी जी को जो सही बात है वो दिखा रहे हैं कि पूरे विश्व के अंदर पाटीदार समाज पर जो अत्याचार हुआ है इसका विरोध हो रहा है।
The Patels in the US have also decided to organize a protest rally in New York. They claim to have the support of 10,000 people. About 5,000 are likely to protest in the Silicon Valley. But BJP believes this is unlikely to cast a shadow on the PM's US visit. But the party is hesitant making any comment over the issue at the moment.
The Prime Minister is visiting US. Do you think Patel reservation will have any...
Thank you. Chaliye.
This group of Patels also cut a black cake on Prime Minister Modi's birthday last week and likened him to Hitler. With Gopi Manyar in Ahmedabad and Brijesh Pandey in Delhi, Maharashtra India Today.
Okay, let me first go straight across live to Smita Sharma, our senior editor, who's joining me from New York, where she's got guests who apparently are planning to protest against the visit of the Prime Minister. These belong to the Patel community there. I'll also be joined by Jai Narayan Vyas, senior BJP leader here in Ahmedabad. But first to you, Smita, is this a very small group which is backing what Hardik Patel is doing? Do they realize that the majority of Gujaratis, majority of NRIs are firmly today with the Prime Minister? Is this a very small group that is intending to protest against Prime Minister Modi's visit?
Well, Rajdeep, first of all, a good morning to you and all our viewers, because in New York, clearly, it's just 11:30 this morning. And, as far as those numbers that you're talking about, there seems to be, yes, different opinions and different views about that. And to talk about it, I'm joined by some members of the Patel community. Now, people who are on the, who are divided, whether they should really agitate or not. Ramesh Bhai Patel here has been formerly with the NYPD, has been in New York for the last 50 years, and is currently chairing the Indian Federation Association for New York, New Jersey and Connecticut. But Mr. Tejas Patel here, who's also been in New York, in fact, since 2002 and is a businessman. Let's get started with him. Mr. Tejas Patel, you've also brought, in fact, a poster with you. Yeah. You are going to protest Narendra Modi's visit to New York. Is that right, and why so?
बहन जी, हम प्रोटेस्ट इसलिए कर रहे हैं कि वो हमारे निर्दोष पाटीदार भाइयों को गोलियां लगाई, घरों में जा के टारगेट बनाया। अगर ऐसा नहीं करता तो हम उसका प्रोटेस्ट ही नहीं करने वाले, क्योंकि वो हमारी नज़रों में, मैं भी बीजेपी वाला ही हूँ, मैं भी आरएसएस संघ वाला ही हूँ। हमारी नज़रों में उसने जो गद्दारी की है, गोधरा कांड के बाद जो निर्दोष हिंदू हमारे भाजपा के कार्यकर्ता जेल में हैं, अभी सड़ गए, उसके फैमिली बर्बाद हो गई है। हम तो उसके लिए काले झंडे का भी वैल्यू जास्ती रखते हैं।
लेकिन आप लोग लास्ट ईयर तक तो आप उनके एक साथ थे, अब क्या हो गया अचानक से कि आप पलट गए? क्या आपके कोई रिलेटिव हैं जिन पर डंडे वगैरह पड़े थे जब हार्दिक पटेल के खिलाफ पुलिस कार्रवाई हुई थी?
लास्ट ईयर में मैं उनकी साथ नहीं था। जब से वो एबीवीपी में था तब से उसकी कलागिरी मैं जानता हूँ। तब से मैंने आज तक किसी को, हमारे निर्दोष भोले भाले पटेल लोग उनके साथ थे। बहन जी, पटेलों को तो महात्मा गांधी ने भी चीटिंग किया था, और सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल को प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनाने में अटकाने में बड़ा हाथ सरदार वल्लभ।
You are angry, you are saying, but Mr. Ramesh Bhai Patel, do you think what Mr. Tejas Patel is saying represents an entire larger Patel community, which is almost 6 lakh in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut?
Well, that is his opinion. That is not my opinion, because the protest, the agitation started was about Patel community at large, but actually they don't represent the Patel community. Entire Patel community is an issue, and people jammed up. That is perfectly fine. They have a right of freedom of expression. They have a right of freedom of peaceful assembly, which they did. But they inflict any violence or they inflict any public property damage or private property damage, it is not.
But if they come and do a peaceful assembly in New York, will you join them, sir? Because the Hardik Patel agitation is also about asking for reservations for the party.
I have already stated my position. I was already interviewed by Times of India and Hindustan Times and many electronics and print media. I made myself very clear. I'm not. He said, "Do you support Hardik Patel?" I said, "I don't know who is Hardik Patel. I don't know his background, and I'm not supporting anybody. All I'm supporting that if the reservation is abolished once and for all, that would be fantastic. Okay. If they cannot do, then they should uplift, and those who are economically distressed or disadvantaged people, they should be given tuition fee, the books and everything.
You're listening to him. ये भी पटेल कम्युनिटी से आते हैं, but he is not pro reservations. आप लोगों के साथ कितने लोग होंगे जो आएंगे सड़क पर और सही में एजिटेशन करेंगे जब नरेंद्र मोदी न्यूयॉर्क पहुंचेंगे?
बहुत लोग बहन जी आने वाले हैं। हम हरिजन आदिवासी की रिजर्वेशन से खिलाफ नहीं है, वो लोग बहुत गरीब है, पर जो हमारे पटेल लोग भैंस रखते हैं, जो गाय वाले को रिजर्वेशन, ऊंट वाले को रिजर्वेशन, बकरे वाले को रिजर्वेशन, और सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल ने बोले थे हमारे पटेल कम्युनिटी बहुत पछात है, उनके लिए हम रिजर्वेशन मांगते हैं, हमारे लिए रिजर्वेशन नहीं।
आप कितने लोगों का आज रिप्रेजेंटेशन कर रहे हैं यहाँ न्यूयॉर्क में? कितने लोग आएंगे? क्या प्लान है? क्या मोदी जी को काले झंडे दिखाएंगे? क्या करेंगे आप?
वो हम काले झंडे दिखा के उसका खिलाफ करेंगे। जो पटेलों पे अत्याचार हुआ है, जो बार्बरता रखी है, वो छोटे औरंगजेब जैसा उनने वर्ताव किया है, हम उसके खिलाफ दिखाने वाले हैं। कितने आएंगे? वो सब लोग आ रहे हैं। वो कड़वा पटेल, लेवा पटेल, 6 गांव पटेल, 5 गांव लेवा पटेल, 42 समाज कड़वा पटेल, सब आ रहे हैं।
Final comment, you know, he just called Narendra Modi a छोटा औरंगजेब. Do you agree with that?
That comment is not called for. I don't agree with that comment because he's a prime minister, and I told every media and every protester here that if Indian prime minister is visiting foreign countries such as United States, we should not do anything so that we try to hurt the image of India. Last time he was already received by the community so enthusiastically, and this time because of this agitation, if we have a black flag or even to protest outside, that is not good. That
okay, Rajdeep, so you hear, you know, it's a divided group here. Clearly, we'll have to wait and watch, right. You know, for the likes of Mr. Tejas Patel, how many of them really assemble on the streets when Narendra Modi comes in on 24th evening. Here in New York, while it's the Patidar community in Silicon Valley, some American scientists have been writing in and saying that America should not fall for the digital India trap. So this is going to be, of course, a visit of Narendra Modi, which is not going to be purely the Madison Square Garden kind of a visit which we saw last year, Rajdeep.
And now this is, I'm presuming, in New York. I mean, in LA where the Prime Minister goes, that is where this time he has his large function of NRIs. There is no possibility, no question of Patel communities on the West Coast, because that way where you have the Patels who have set up all the motels, they intend to back the Prime Minister. Is there a divide between the East Coast and the West Coast, or is there a divide within the community at the moment? That some of them are supporting Hardik Patel, but a majority, you believe, are with the Prime Minister and would like to see the Prime Minister being greeted in the way he was at Madison Square Gardens, this time on the West Coast.
Well, you know, Rajdeep, I'll just try and get a sense from that as well. ये आप पोस्टर क्या है? क्या एक और पोस्टर निकाला आपने?
वो हिंदू पाटीदारों के कातिल और छोटे औरंगजेब मोदी।
सर, ये आप इतने हार्श वर्ड्स यूज कर रहे हैं, लेकिन आप लोग न्यूयॉर्क में हैं, लॉस एंजलिस में भी, वहाँ सिलिकॉन वैली जाएंगे, पहले प्रधानमंत्री है जो जाएंगे, वहाँ पर क्या इस तरह का कोई इसेंस है या ये सिर्फ न्यूयॉर्क तक सीमित?
सब पाटीदार जो होते हैं वो दिल से, वो हार्दिक पटेल 22 साल का लड़का है, हम भी नहीं जानते थे पहले, वो पटेलों का लेके निकला है, रथ लेके निकला है, उनको हमको सपोर्ट करना चाहिए। हार्दिक भाई, लालजी भाई, सब पटेल है, कड़वा पटेल, लेवा पटेल, और सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल का सपना था, उनने तो वो गांधी की मंदिर बनाई, हमको सरदार पटेल को वो भूल गए, सरदार पटेल को उठने कट और साइज किया, जो सोमनाथ मंदिर
सरदार पटेल को भूल गए। रमेश भाई पटेल जी, आप बताइए, ये डिवाइड आपको नजर आ रहा है क्या कि ये थोड़ा सा यहाँ परसेंटेज है, क्योंकि सिलिकॉन वैली में भी वो काफी इंटरेक्शन करेंगे, डिजिटल इंडिया, मेक इन इंडिया पर स्ट्रेस देंगे, क्या वहां पे भी कुछ अमेरिकन साइंटिस्ट है जो डिजिटल इंडिया का विरोध कर रहे हैं?
डिजिटल इंडिया विरोध का आपको बताया, some academicians sent open letter, that is what we already condemn those academicians, they are all anti-India element for digital India. So it's going to be very, very successful visit to United States. There is no doubt about it. People have rallied behind him. People are looking for progress, prosperity, jobs in India. He's trying to create.
Do you think the percentage that we are looking at, you know, of people who will come out in solidarity with Tejas Patel is going to be very minuscule?
Whenever there is any kind of protest, people just go out and see what is going on, and they assemble in big number of people or small number of people. That is not the issue. Issue is that issue has no merit. We should have a different kind of presentation. That, okay, we should sit down with the publicly elected office bearer, that this is what we want, that try to abolish reservation and try to help the...
Okay, बस last 20 seconds में reservation नहीं होना चाहिए कह रहे हैं ये।
नहीं, गरीब आदमी जो है वो हमारे हरिजन समाज, वो छोटे समाज वाले, आदिवासी समाज, शेड्यूल कास्ट, शेड्यूल ट्राइब, उनका होना चाहिए, और गरीब पटेलों को होना चाहिए। हम तो वो जो गरीब पटेल है, जो भैंसे रखते हैं, वो पछात जैसे, और
आप प्रोटेस्ट करेंगे जब नरेंद्र मोदी?
या करेंगे।
Okay, so Well, we have to wrap up this debate right now, Rajdeep. Clearly, you know, the cold winds blowing here in New York. The traffic is very slow, but clearly things picking up, you know, as far as Narendra Modi's visit is concerned.
Okay, well, he was the original Gujarat ka sher, which is why it is surprising to see the Patel community divided in this manner. Clearly, Hardik Patel is echoing somewhere there on the streets of New York. Smita Sharma, who will be reporting for us on the Prime Minister's visit.